would be wrong just to ride on past you and not offer help. I really don't know what I'm doing. And I'm embarrassed, Caleigh admitted with a sigh. I have no idea where to put the jack. Under the car? That was playful sarcasm, which wasn't a good move, judging by the look on your face. Blaze smiled. What have you done so far? I loosened the lug nuts. Blaze knelt by the flat tire. You got the first part down, so that's good. She hooked the crank handle to the jack and slid it beneath the car. Caleigh joined Blaze on the ground and studied the placement. Okay, so that's the frame. Yep, and I'm going to turn this handle until the tire clears the ground. I had a flat recently, so I've had a refresher course on how to do this. Great. Caleigh watched as Blaze pulled a hairband from the pocket of her jeans, swept her long bangs from her face, and twisted the band around them. The setting sun brought out the hues in her dark red shoulder-length hair. Caleigh smiled when Blaze glanced up at her with a pair of pretty blue eyes. She watched the muscles in Blaze's arms as she turned the jack handle and noticed she was wearing work boots, a short-sleeved denim shirt, and jeans. So is this your normal exercise attire? Blaze glanced at Caleigh again. I would have worn something comfortable, but I made a spur-of-the-moment decision brought on by a stressful environment I wanted to escape for a while. What? Caleigh asked slowly and cocked her head like a confused pup. I just needed to burn off some frustration. I totally get that. Blaze is an interesting name. Unless it's yours, Blaze said as she removed the lug nuts. I suppose Blaze is what came to mind when I was born because I had bright red hair. I hated it when I was little because other kids thought my name was weird. She pulled the tire off the posts. Okay, we're ready for the spare. Will you open your trunk? Oh, Caleigh said with a blank expression. You don't have a spare? Caleigh grimaced. Okay, I'm in the process of moving to Falcon. Ah. Blaze stood and brushed off her hands. The tire is buried under a bunch of luggage, isn't it? Kinda, Caleigh said as she hurried to the driver's side of the car and pushed the trunk release. Blaze walked to the back of the car and tried to keep her expression neutral as Caleigh opened the trunk and revealed what looked like hundreds of boxes. Wow, so you're really into shoes. I know that you're thinking I'm that woman, the prissy one who can't change her own tire and has a ton of clothes and shoes, and her highest priority is getting her nails done. I swear I'm not, even though the evidence points to the contrary, Caleigh said as she gathered boxes. My former job required me to travel constantly, and I didn't have a real home. It made no sense to buy things to decorate an apartment I rarely saw. So I compensated by buying things I did use, and that was clothes and shoes. The moving van that had my few furnishings left before I realized I forgot to pack my shoe closet. You had a whole closet dedicated to shoes? Blaze asked as she grabbed boxes too. I've had the same job since I graduated college, and I'm almost 40. That was a lot of years of collecting shoes, so yes. When I get into my new place, I'll sort through them, then donate most to a women's shelter. Caleigh dropped an armload of boxes onto the road. I am that woman. Oh my God, I am. I can't change a tire. I have a ton of shoes. I don't know how to work in an office, and this is proof. Blaze's jaw sagged slightly as she tried to make sense of what she was hearing. People wear shoes in an office, she said numbly. But I wore mine on the road. Caleigh snatched a shoebox out of the trunk and spiked it on the ground like a football. She waved her hands around wildly and stared at the sky. Is this a sign? Is the universe trying to tell me through a flat tire that I should have stayed in my old job where I knew what I was doing? Breathing heavily, she met Blaze's startled gaze. I can't even change my own tire, so how am I going to run a whole human resources department? Blaze looked at the shoes and boxes scattered around Caleigh's feet, thinking they'd be there for hours if Caleigh continued to have an emotional crisis. How long have you been driving? Since I got my learner's permit at 15 years old, Caleigh replied, looking confused. I mean today. Oh.